Hey everybody, welcome back to Hoffman Reproductions. Thank you for tuning in with us once again. Well, on our last video we had fun shooting our flintlock, and now it is time to do the unfun part. We want to clean it good. As everyone mostly knows, black powder is extremely corrosive, so if you shoot your flintlock firearm or whatever type of black powder weapon that you have and you put it away for the night and decide not to clean it, not really a good idea. You're probably going to find some rust on it in the morning. You do that several times in a row, you're going to affect the rifling, and eventually you will destroy the gun. So important, if you shoot it, you need to clean it, regardless if you're firing blanks or live rounds. So a lot of different ways you can clean a black powder firearm. I'm going to show you the way I do it. By no means is it the only way you can. Lots of variation here. First thing I do is I'll plug up the touch hole with a wooden peg of some type and wrap a rag or tie a rag around near the muzzle end, because I begin my cleaning chore with water, and that helps anything that I spill over the edge from running down the gun. You can remove the barrel if you want, and I do recommend doing that a few times a year just to get under the gun, clean it good, grease it up, and you can give the barrel a very thorough cleaning. However, on day-to-day type shooting and whatnot, that's not 100% necessary, but that is your choice. I have lukewarm water here in a container with a little bit of dish soap. Dish soap helps to break up black powder fouling and clean just the same as it would clean your hands. I have a range rod here with a cleaning jag, boar bristle brush that goes on the end for scrubbing. I've got WD-40, some long-term oil, and some boar cleaner, and several rags and cleaning patches ready to go. And I have a funnel that works well to insert into the muzzle to keep you from spilling water all over the place. I like to flush it out initially with water. Black powder is very dirty, and I've found nothing works better to initially flush the crud out of the gun. So I will do that several times in a row, scrubbing with the brush in between until the water comes out clear. So we'll go ahead, get our funnel positioned, and dump a little bit down there. Just let it set for a second, then I'll go out the door here and dump it. Okay, so I flushed the barrel out a couple of times. Now I'm going to just make a couple of passes with the brush on the end of the cleaning rod. This helps just break up any crud that's clinging to the inside of the barrel, especially down near the breech. After I do that, I'll flush it out a few more times. Okay, so I'm going to take a clean patch now with the cleaning jag installed on the rod and dampen with water and soap. Go ahead and run one down and see what it looks like. First patch is usually pretty nasty. And it's pretty dirty. It's not horrible since we flushed it out, but quite a bit of fouling on there. So we'll continue to wash it with clean patches until they start to come out reasonably clean. Alright, so after 5 cleaning patches ran down, just soaking up some of that water, the gun's a lot cleaner than it was, but still they're coming up dirty. So what I do now is I go ahead and remove the plug out of the lock, stick a cleaning patch in the pan, and shut the frizzen just to catch anything that might run out. I now switch over to a boar cleaner. Lots and lots of boar cleaners out there on the market. Many of them work just fine. This is a homemade blend. It's got several different household chemicals in it. You can find recipes all over the internet. Pick one that guys claim work well and then have evidence to back that up, and it's not just hearsay. But I'll do several patches with boar cleaner, swabbing, and occasionally run a dry one down to soak anything up. Okay, so from start to finish, starting with the water and ending with the boar cleaner, I've gone through probably 15 or 20 cleaning patches. They were pretty dirty. Now they're coming out clean, pretty much spotless. I follow that up by running several dry patches down just to mop anything up that's laying in the barrel. Now I'll switch over to WD-40 and I'll use 3 or 4 patches heavily saturated with it to go ahead, rub up and down the barrel, displaces any moisture and removes any last bits of fouling that might be clinging to the gun. Alright, with the barrel cleaned, it is time to switch over to the lock. If you're planning on shooting the next day, you can just go in here with a damp cleaning patch with some water, some solvent, and wipe the lock off good. Apply some oil to it and that'll do just fine. However, if you're going to be putting the gun up, I recommend taking the lock out so you can really thoroughly clean it, because again, black powder is not good for metal surfaces and especially a lock, so I am going to go ahead and remove the lock and then be able to wipe it down very thoroughly. Okay, with the lock removed, now you can get in here with a damp shooting patch and wipe all the fouling out. Once a year, it's not a bad idea to take the lock mostly apart so you can really get in there and clean it good. After a season of shooting, it does tend to be beneficial to take a lock apart, maybe clean up any surfaces, bearing surfaces that need it, but for routine shooting that's not really necessary. This works pretty good. Just make sure anywhere you see fouling you get it mopped up, and once we're done with that, thoroughly oiling all the surfaces that you have washed. Okay, so if you notice the wardrobe change, my battery died, so it is the following day. Getting back to where we were, the lock is now fully clean. I have oiled it inside and out. On the inside, I like to use a light machine oil over all the moving parts. Some guys like to use grease. I don't really like to do that because it can bind up the mechanism on the lock if you use a heavy grease, and can potentially even lead to the full cock and half cock notch not wanting to work if you have a heavy grease buildup, so I use a light machine oil in there. Down the barrel, the type of permanent oil that I use is different from that of others, but there are many different long-term lubes and greases that you can use for storing your muzzleloader. What I like to use after I finish cleaning and have run a dry patch down the barrel is motor oil. This is just brand new, clean Pennzoil 5W20 weight, same stuff I use in my pickup truck. And I would not rub it down on the outside of the gun. It could be a little harsh for the wooden things. But down the inside, it does everything that oil would do on the inside of your car engine. It lubricates it very well. It's heavy duty, holds up well under heat, under cold temperatures, wards off rust and corrosion, and I've been very happy using that, so that's what I use down the barrel. On the outside, I use just fine mineral oil that's safe for the wood, and of course the iron fittings on the gun. Wipe it down good. When I'm all finished, usually the next day, before I put the gun into storage, I usually will run a cleaning patch on a jag down the barrel with oil one more time, wipe the outside off, and then it seems like you can put it up for a very long period of time and have no problems. So by no means the only way that you can clean and oil up a muzzleloader, but that's the way I do it. Please feel free to leave a comment if you have a question or want to add to something that I have shown there. Again, we appreciate it, and we'll see y'all again real soon.